thing on? What's good with the YouTube, man? It's your boy MNGMTSemajay the Planet, and I'm back with another banger video. Now look, I already know this isn't even like the normal setting that I usually do. I know that this ain't even usually how I do my intros. I know I got a black eye, it's all types of other crazy stuff going on. But it's just a little bit of a video, a little bit of a different type of video today. I got a whole story time that pretty much ever since I've been doing YouTube, this has just kind of been my story. And I mean, it is what it is, but recently something just happened, and I think that it impacts kind of how my life has took a turn. I don't really know if I'm explaining it right. But as y'all can see by the title and the thumbnail, this is not clickbait. This is like, I'm dead serious. Like, this is so dead for real. Yep. I went to jail, bro, and this right here is a story time on how I went to jail. So I'm gonna just go ahead and jump right into it. I got the story time on my phone, so just bear with me. And I'm reading it off on my phone, so I'm gonna try to remember as best as I can because this did happen like 2 years ago. I went to jail. Technically, I went to jail 3 times. We're just gonna say 3 times, right? I got arrested 4, but as far as actual cases, 3 times, right? Cool. Also, I kind of got to hurry up a little bit because that police officer just came and said I got 15 minutes. I haven't even done anything, but I'm not trying to deal with that shit because I literally just got out of jail 8 days ago. But like I said, we finna get straight into the video. In case you're wondering why I got my phone in this black thing is what's controlling the camera, so I can stop recording at any time I want to and start recording again. So look, first thing is first, right? This is back when I lived in Nebraska. I had just got the Hellcat, and I remember I was trying to bring the Hellcat back to Dallas so that way my family and my friends could see it, because I have been talking about this car for years, and I finally got it. And when I finally got it, I'm like, man, I finally got the car of my dreams. Everybody's so proud of me. I gotta go back home and actually, you feel me, like show my friends. So initially I was gonna go July 1st through July 14th. So that way it's the middle of summer, I can show all my friends, my family, everybody outside, don't nobody gotta work. Nothing really too crazy, right? Bro, who the hell is this? Anyway, yeah, I wanted to show everybody, and then 4th of July is right there. Well, my grandmother actually, my mom told me she had surgery on the last day of June. Remember that, last day of June. So I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna come down if she got surgery on the last day of June. I'm gonna come down June 30th. So then that way I can spend a whole day with her before she has to go into surgery. I know what you're thinking. Just hold your thoughts, because it's all gonna make it. Well, anyways, so June 30th comes around. I pack up the Hellcat. Everything is cool. And I mean, as I do so, I hit the road. So I go to Kansas. I'm driving or whatever. I'm driving. I get to Kansas, and I call my homeboy, who's a barber. And I'm like, hey man, I ain't gonna lie, bet I need a fresh ass fade. So he like, I bet, I got you. So I told him I was coming down on the last day of June. This is probably like 2 weeks before I had even left. So June 30th comes around, and I'm like, hey bet, I'm on the way. I should be there at like around 6:30. So he like, you coming today? I thought you was coming yesterday. That's what he said. I thought you was coming yesterday. I was like, nah, man, I'm coming today. So he checked the schedule. He was like, oh, that's weird. I put you down for yesterday, June 29th. I'm like, nah. I said my grandmama got surgery the last day of June, so I'm coming up the day before. He was like, that sounds weird, I don't know why. And I was like, So split my mind. He was like, well, all right, cool, just go ahead and come down, right? I'm like, all right, bet. So I'm driving. I get to Oklahoma City. I get to this little city called Ardmore. If you ever drive through Oklahoma, I don't give a fuck what you got to do. Don't go through Ardmore, bro. So I'm driving, and long story short, my grandmother had surgery that day. I'm thinking that it was June 31st. No, June 30th was the last day. And then also an emergency. I'm not gonna put my grandmama's business out there, or just my family business in general, but an emergency happened at the house, and I was 90 minutes away from the house, and I was in the Hellcat. So I made the impulsive decision to start driving recklessly. I'm not gonna say what I was doing. Just know I was driving above the speed limit, and I was in a rush to try to get home, and I'm in a Hellcat. So anyways, as I'm driving recklessly, I'm focused on what's in front of me. I'm not worried about what's on the side or behind me. And the whole time, I guess, there was a police officer behind me. So when I seen the police officer, I pulled over, right? When I pulled over, it's like 6 police cars there. They all pull their guns out, runs up to the window, and he's like, hey bro, you under arrest? I'm like, god damn, for what? He's like, felony eluding. Bro, I wasn't even running. If I was running, I'm in a Hellcat. I'm not gonna gonna say what would have happened or what could have happened, but if you know, you know. I told him it was an emergency. He said he didn't give a damn. He said he ain't give a fuck. So I remember I'm sitting in the cop car, they're running my name, and they start searching my car. He was like, what kind of car is that? I'm like, it's a Dodge. He was like, yeah, but what kind of Dodge? I said, it's a Dodge Charger. He was like, well, duh, we got Dodge Chargers. What kind of Dodge Charger is that? So I'm like, he was like, a what? I said, he was like, who? I said, bruh. What? I'm like, it's a Hellcat.
Wow.
He was like, oh, that's a Hellcat. I said, what do you do for a living? And I was like, I'm an entrepreneur. He was like, how much is one of those cars? I'm like, they range anywhere from $70,000 to $100,000. I mean, it just depends. I was young and dumb. I should have just told his ass straight up, bro. I don't answer shit. This don't got nothing to do with nothing. Like, I don't answer nothing, bro. You cool. Like, feel me? Just take me to jail, bro. He said, hey, do you have anything illegal in this vehicle? I said, no, sir. Nothing in the car is illegal. He was like, you sure? I said, yeah, I'm sure. He was like, are you positive? I said, bro, I'm positive. He was like, are you sure that you're positive? I'm like, gang, you can tear the whole car apart. You're not gonna find nothing illegal. I'm telling you. They popped the trunk. I got all of my guns in the car. Every single gun I own was in that car. Not only that, I had 500 rounds of 7.62, 1,000 rounds of 9, 750 rounds of 40. I had 500 rounds of 5.56. I had 300 blackout, and the list goes on and on and on because I had all my guns with me. As soon as the pump was popped, the officer said, whoa, we got an AK-47, we got a Glock 19X, we got a Glock 27, and the list just goes on. So the officer is on the radio, and he literally stopped. He looked at me, eye contact, he looked at me. And he's like, run all the serial numbers, run them all. After that, he asked, he said, so why'd you pull over right here? And I said, well, I pulled over right here because it's a gas station. I don't want to pull over on the side of the highway and, you feel me, that's a safety hazard for you to get hit. So I pulled over because the gas station is very safe. This motherfucker gets on the radio and says, yeah, code such and such, such, such. He says he only pulled over because he ran out of gas. Long story short, I went to jail, bro. When I got to the jail, literally, bro, they asked the officer, they asked me, they said, what you in here for? What'd you do? And I was like, man, look, the charge is on the paper, bro. Like, at this point, I was fed up. He was like, well, what is the charge gonna say when I read it? What did you do? I said, bro, I don't answer questions, gang. It's on the paper. If you wanna see, you'll read it. So he reads the charge, and he's like, damn, what kind of car were you in? I said, a Hellcat. He was like, and you let them catch you? I said, I stopped. I wasn't trying to run, I stopped. Like, hell no. Chat, I got charged with felony eluding, felony possession of a firearm, even though every single gun was in my name. I got charged with reckless driving, no insurance, no registration, which they didn't even ask me for either or, and improper license plate placement or some shit like that. I don't know. It was dumb. Hey, what time y'all open? Do you mind if I stay here?
She might say, I'm leaving.
Who is it? Hey, chat, hold on. Give me a second. I'm finna go in there and ask if I can stay here and record. I'm not gonna be here for much longer, so I'm just gonna ask. If they tell me to leave, I'm gonna just leave and come back and do the video tomorrow. Yes, I'm gonna leave my camera right here. Alright, chat, I'm good. I'm not gonna lie, I low-key was kind of rushing the video a little bit, but now I'm gonna actually take my time. So, boom, I'm sitting there for like 30 minutes, bro, just in handcuffs on this little ass seat. Like, the seat was the size of like one of them small plates, gang. Like, it's almost like they was trying to keep me prepared to go to state federal prison or something. Like, it just didn't make no sense on how small that seat was. Well, anyways, I'm sitting there for 30 minutes. I finally get changed into what I'm supposed to wear, and from there, they put me in the holding cell. As soon as I walk in the holding cell, bro, I smell straight piss. Like, no BS, bro. It was straight piss. And I ain't gonna lie, it smelled like a crackhead piss. Like, it was so smelly. Then on top of that, I tried to flush the toilet. Gang, the toilet wouldn't even flush, bro. I swear to God. When I got in there, it was probably like 3 p.m. I sat in there for like 3 hours, bro. And then I'm like, bro, I'm really in jail. I had a whole anxiety attack and passed out, bro. And I woke up sun outside at all. It looked just like how it looked outside right now. At that point in time, I hadn't had a phone call. I hadn't had no food, no water. I ain't had shit, like nothing. I asked for my phone call at least 22 or 23 times. And it was like, hold on, we got you. Hold on, yeah, we got you. Yeah, okay, no, we got you. Okay, no, we'll give you a phone call. I never got it. And on top of that, there was some guy in a cell next to me screaming loud as fuck. Like, he was screaming so fucking loud. And then there was another guy in the cell next to me on the other side. He was complaining about how fucking hot it was. And he was saying like, man, it's so hot in here, bro. I'm about to rip my fucking hair out. It's so hot in here. Y'all need to let me out this fucking cell right now. Y'all don't have no AC. This is bullshit. Y'all need to let me out before I fuck somebody up with this bitch. Bro, he would not calm down. Like, I was hearing him ripping his jumpsuit. Bro, he was banging on the door. He was even punching the mirrors, and the mirrors were breaking in there. Like, I heard glass and shit breaking and everything. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, bro, it's no way I'm here. I don't belong here, bro. Like, it's no way. And I guess he was in the cell with some other dude. Like, they was both in the same holding cell. He was like, hey, can y'all get this guy some air? I think he's going crazy. And he was like, shut the hell up, let it up. And just start going crazy. But dude started screaming in there, screaming bad. So they opened up the cell. They're like, hey, bro, what you want us to do? He was like, man, move me the fuck up out this cell. It's too hot. So they opened up my cell. They opened my cell and they was like, you got AC in here? I said, hell no, I don't got no AC up in this bitch. Hell no, I don't got no AC. I'm hot as hell in this hole. They was like, okay, he don't got AC either. What you want us to do? Then they came back like 2 minutes later. They was like, you sure you don't got no AC in here? Then I finally seen the dude. But the dude had tats all on his head. Nigga hands was bloody. That nigga was sweating, gang. That nigga was buffed in a hole. I'm talking about like buff, nigga. Like, he was huge, gang. Another hour went by. They opened my cell up. They put some random dude in there. I said, bro, what you in here for? He was like, DUI. And damn. Then another hour. And another dude with a DUI. Then another hour. And another dude with another DUI. But the thing about this dude is, this dude was fried. Like, he was cooked. Like, bad. I asked him, I said, hey, bro, what you in here for? He was like, man, they got me here on a DUI. I'm not even drunk. I said, bro, you're not drunk? He's stumbling and fucking just going off, bro. So I'm like, you not drunk? He was like, man, do I look drunk? Bro, eyes was looking in two different directions. Like, I was like, nah, you don't look drunk at all. So he started telling the story. Bro, this nigga passed out in the middle of him telling the story. He hit the wall and slid down the wall like Sierra, bro. When he hit the ground, that nigga fucking flip-flops flopped off. And he just sat there and started snoring hard as hell. And mind you, when his shoes came off, he had his left shoe on his right foot and his right shoe on his left foot, bro. Man, look, probably like 10 minutes go by. Another two dudes walk in there. It was a chubby white dude that was balding, and there was a white nigga with fucking dreads, bro. A white dude with dreads, gang. So the white dude with dreads, I asked them both. I said, hey, what y'all in here for? The chubby dude was like, I'm in here for a DUI, man. And then the white dude with dreads was in the corner, rocking back and forth. I said, what you in here for, bro? That nigga stopped rocking, looked at me, and made a fart noise with his mouth, gang. Like, come on, bro. I ended up asking a white dude, I said, bro, what time is it? He was like, it's about 2:40 in the morning. 2:40 in the morning? Gang! I got there at 3 p.m. I had been there for 12 hours. So look, at that point, I knew I had been there for 12 hours and I began to get worried. And they would open up my cell, say a name, and then when they said the name, then they would take a person out. So they opened up my cell about 6 or 7 times and said 6 or 7 names. And then I was the last one in there again, bro. So from there, then they came back and they said somebody's name that has the same last name as me. So let's just say that they said, I'm not gonna say out my last name, but let's just say that they said Thomas Smith. And I was like, hey, over here. They opened up the cell, they were like, you Thomas Smith? And I was like, no, I'm Semajay Smith. And they were like, oh no, we're looking for for Thomas Smith. I'm like, nah, y'all gotta have something messed up on the paper because at the end of the day, like, I've been here for 10 hours, bro. Like, it's impossible. It's literally impossible. And they were like, nah, we're looking for Thomas Smith. The guy's like, Thomas Smith? That's me, over here. I'm like, oh, bro, it's no way. Like, it's no way. Bro, I sat in there for 6 more hours, bro, praying. I was crying, just losing my mind, bro. Finally, they came and got me. I took my mugshots, got fingerprinted. It's terrible. They told me that I could post my bond on Sunday because I got in there on Friday, and I guess Thursday, but then 4th of July was on Monday, and then Tuesday they took off, so I could post bond on Sunday and then come back on Wednesday to see the judge. Like, all right, cool. And then they told me, they said, hey, you're gonna be going to a cell called D block. Your number is gonna be 218. That's the room that you're gonna sleep in. I said, all right, cool. I walk in, bro. It's dark as a bitch. I am not gonna lie. I'm like, 218? Where's 218 at? Boom, they slammed the door and locked that motherfucker, bro. I'm like, where the fuck am I at? I couldn't see nothing. Bro, I walk up the stairs because obviously 1 is on the 1st floor and 2 is on the 2nd floor. So I walk up the stairs, bro, and I see somebody, there's a window in the door. I see somebody move a towel, look at me, and watch me the whole time I come up the stairs. And then shut that bitch as soon as I got up the stairs. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? I finally find 218. I knock on the door, bro. It's a towel. Bro, snatch the towel back. I'm talking about this a big black ass nigga in that hole. Big in a bit, bro. He had a fucking 223 bullet on his eyebrow, and then he had some other shit right here coming down his face. Nigga had a Nike symbol on this side of his face, and the nigga had a Dodge Demon tattoo on his neck, bro. That nigga said, bro, on my life, on my soul, you come in this bitch, I'm shanking this shit at you on crib, on blood, on everything I love, nigga, on my dead brother life. You come in this hoe, your ass done for, bro, on my mama, nigga. I swear to God, you cannot step foot past this door. I'ma do your ass, gang. I swear to God. I'm in this one like, bruh, I just got here. I was like, gang, I ain't gonna lie, bro. They just told me to come up in this bit. I'm like, you feel me? I ain't even supposed to be here type shit. And I'm just up in this hoe, bro. Like, bro, this nigga pulled a shake out. He said, bro, I swear to God, on everything I love, nigga, on my soul, nigga, on my dead brother, bro, I swear to God, you come in this bitch, I'm sticking this whole thing inside you, gang. I swear.
You come in this bitch, I'm sticking this whole thing inside you, gang. I swear.
Huh? I promise you. I'm like, bro, gang, can you just chill? Like, let a nigga have it, bro. You tripping, gang. Like, you tripping. I ain't gonna lie, it's a dude in this truck, and this nigga has on a police, like, collared shirt, and he just got gas, and now this nigga is sitting over here trying to get gas at another pump. So, I'm like, you know what, bro? I ain't gonna lie, y'all niggas tripping, gang. Like, I don't want no parts of that shit. I'm cool. I took off my shit, went right back downstairs, bro. On God, went right back downstairs, bro. I went downstairs, I picked up the phone, and I'm like, man, damn, what number do I call for these niggas to get me the fuck up out of here? Like, what do I do type shit? So it's an older dude that came up out that hoe. He was like, hey, man, my name's Shiesty. I'm the OG here. What you need, bro? So I was like, man, I need a phone call or something. They ain't even give me a phone call. I don't know what to do. He was like, I got you, bro. You can use my shit and call somebody. I called my dad. This nigga tell my son, what up? I said, Pop, you know what this is? He was like, yeah. I was like, you know where I'm at? He was like, yeah. I was like, can you help me out? He was like, man, we're doing everything we can to get you right now. So at that point, it's time for break. So I get up. The dude who was talking about shanking me, he walked up to me. He was like, hey, bro, I apologize, man. I thought you was somebody else. I said, nah, it's cool, bro. It's all good. I said that, but I knew I had to keep an eye on him. So at that point, I'm like, bro, what's your name, gang? Like, you feel me? I'm just trying to be cool up in this bit. I don't want no problems. I'm trying to be in and just get out. You feel me? So I asked him, like, bro, what's your name? He said, my name, Tiny Face Low. Tiny Face Low? Who the fuck is calling you that? I didn't say that, but like, come on, gang, who the fuck is calling you Tiny Face Low? I said, damn, bitch, what you in this hoe for? Bro, I'm eating my food, right? The nigga said, nothing too crazy, bro. I just shot a nigga house up with a Draco 40 times. Gang, the food was finna go in my mouth, bro, and like, when he said that, I couldn't put the food in my mouth, bro. Like, what do you mean I'm here for something small? I just shot a nigga house up 40 times with a Draco. A Draco hold 30 bullets. That mean you had to empty the clip reload and shoot 10 more of them hoes, bro. Hey, bro, I'm definitely on the lookout for this nigga, gang. Like, definitely, bro. Like, definitely. At that point, the whole day, I didn't talk to nobody, bro. I was just in that hole doing push-ups, reading my Bible, and just chilling, you know what I'm saying? Just thinking about, okay, look, tomorrow, I'm gonna know my bond, I'm gonna get out tomorrow, I'm gonna be good, bro. The next day come around, I'm supposed to get my bond this day. I'll call in at 11 a.m., 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nothing. So then they end up opening up the door to the block and they're like, hey, Semajay, come with us. I'm like, okay, I'm guessing I'm finna get my bond. Man, hell no. I go in this room, I'm talking about big cock diesel ass nigga, bro, bald ass head with a deep ass voice. Bro, walk up in that bitch. Guess what this nigga said? This nigga said, I gotta make sure that y'all hear this. Get it off the phone so that way y'all know exactly what this nigga said. It says, so why is it that one of the guns that was found in your vehicle was a stolen gun that we have been looking for that was used in a case that I am on, and we have been working on that same case since December? My nigga, it's July. It's SEM. I got you, hold up. So I said, man, that's bullshit. I said, hey, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know who you think you playing with, but it ain't me, gang. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. You got the wrong dude, bro. On God, you do. He was like, no, I got the right guy. And I was like, okay, so which gun was stolen? And he said, well, name every single gun that you had in your car and where you got them from. So guess what I did? I named every single gun that I had in my car, every single one. And I also named where I got them hoes from too. He said, okay, well, I'm not gonna lie, that's hard to believe because the gun that I'm talking about that was found in your car was actually stolen from a city that's 5 miles south of here. And I said, well, that's funny because I've never been 5 miles south from here. So again, I think you got the wrong nigga, bruh. So then he says, well, hold on, about that one. Let me make a call. Bro, what do you mean let you make a call? So I asked him, I said, sir, I'm gonna be honest with you. And I don't mean to be disrespectful when I ask you this, but this is a genuine question. How the fuck do you not know which gun was stolen? And you've been working on this case since December and it's July. How the fuck do you not know which gun it is? Why do you have to make a phone call to somebody else when you have been working this case for 7 fucking months? So he writes something down and he's like, okay, thank you. He hangs up the phone. This nigga asked me, he said, so there wasn't a 12 gauge shotgun in your car? Bro, I said, bro, fuck no, there was never a shotgun in my car. I've never even had a shotgun in that car. I've never even owned a fucking shotgun. So what the hell is you talking about a 12 gauge for, bruh? I said, you can't find a single gun on this planet that got my fingerprints on it, and you trying to tell me it was a fucking stolen gun in my goddamn car. Be for real, nigga. I said, man, look, I don't know what the fuck you need to do, but you need to pull body cam footage. You need to do something, because I'm my mama, I'm not going for that shit, bro. That shit dead. Man, look, I don't understand how you had to make a phone call. For a case that you've been working for 6 months, gang. Like, that shit make no sense. I said, man, look, I ain't gonna lie. Y'all got me confused with somebody else, and that don't got shit to do with me, bro. I'm not answering no more fucking questions about what the fuck you talking about, gang. I said, okay, well, I have one more question. Just one more. Because I can tell that you don't belong in here. What are you in here for, dude? What did you do? What are you in here for? And I said, well, what I'm in here for is on the paper. So he looked and he said, you can't just tell me what you did? You can't just tell me what you in here for? And then I remembered that the clerk at the front was like, what'd you do? Why are you in here? What'd you do? And if I would have said, oh, I was felony evading or felony eluding, they could have used that right there as a statement of guilt saying that that's what I did. Fuck out of here, bro. I said, gang, what I'm been accused of is on the paper. So he looks at the paper. He was like, you can't tell me? I said, bro, it's your fucking job to know. What the fuck do you mean? What do you mean can I tell you, bro? It's your fucking job. He looks at the charge and he was like, so why were you running, bro? Why were you running? I said, I wasn't running. He was like, then why are you in here? I said, shit, I don't know. That's a question for me to ask you instead of you asking me. I don't know. So he starts to try to ask me more questions, and I cut his bald-headed ass smooth off. And I told his skin fade, muscle head ass straight up, bro, I'm not answering no more questions, bro. None. He asked me something else, bro. Hit his ass with one of these hoes, bro. I'm not answering no more questions. On God, nothing. Finito, it's over with. So I go back in there, bro. I make the phone call. They close at 6. I make the phone call at like 5:50. I'm like, yeah, man, this is Semajay Smith, and I'm just calling to see if I posted bond, man. He was like, yeah, they actually do got your bond posted. Here, you said your name's Semajay Smith? Let me look. Oh, they got your bond posted, all right. Yeah, this is a hell of a bond. It looks like your bond is $100,000.
It looks like your bond is
I said, no. Hold up. You mean like, you sure? I said, how many decimals is it? He was like, it's 2 decimals. I said, how many zeros is it after the decimals? He said, it's 5 zeros. I said, okay. I said, how many zeros is it total? He said, it's 7 zeros. $100,000? 100 bands. I said, you sure that's not a Thomas Smith instead of Semajay Smith? You sure that you're not reading Thomas Smith? He was like, nah. Semajay Smith read my birthday, my address, my phone number. Nigga read my social security number. Hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if this nigga knew my credit score, bro. I literally held the phone and dropped the phone, bro. Like, I dropped the phone like I was in a movie. Like, that shit just fell out my hands, and you seen the phone just hit the ground. Like, bro, I broke the fuck down, gang. I wasn't getting out. I was not getting out of jail, bro. I called my dad immediately, nigga, and I told him, I said, Dad, my bond, I got my bond. He was like, all right, bet. I'm finna go ahead and hop up in the car right now and be on the way to come get you. I said, Dad. He was like, what's up? I'm literally locking the door right now. My car already started. I said, you don't understand. I heard him put his car in gear, bro, in reverse. And like the camera beeps when his car go in reverse. He was like, what's up? I said, man, my bond is 100 bands. Bro, I heard the nigga gear shift right back into park, bro. I said, $100,000? He said, no, we not paying that shit. We finna work on getting you a lawyer right now. He claims that we end up getting the best lawyer in the county. He also said that I have court on Wednesday. Bruh, I had just got in there on Thursday. So I was finna have to spend 6 days up in that motherfucker, bruh. Them first 3 days was the longest days of my life. I didn't talk to nobody. Like, I'm gonna just be 100 with y'all. I didn't even shower. Only thing I did was brush my teeth. I didn't even take a shit, gang. You telling me I gotta do 3 more days in this bitch? Hell no. I'm not trying to do that shit. I ain't gonna lie. Them last 3 days was the longest days of my life, gang. Of my life. Wednesday came around, right? And I was reading the Bible, and I was reading a story about David and Bathsheba or some shit like that. And David was in the middle of asking God to forgive him in a prayer. And I was reading exactly what David was saying, and it sounded a little bit familiar of kind of how I was feeling. So when I recited the prayer, I repeated the whole thing, but I also added my own little twist to it. I asked God to forgive me and to hold my hand while I walked down this new path and chapter in my life, because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And I needed some sort of guidance. I told God that I didn't understand why I I was in this scenario, but I also told him that I trust him throughout this whole process, and wherever he wants to lead me is wherever I will go. I told him that I was very disappointed in myself. I told him I made my friends disappointed, my family disappointed. Ultimately, I felt like I made him disappointed, and I apologize for that. And I told him that I already knew that this whole process would be tough, but regardless of the outcome, I knew I was gonna come out bigger, badder, and stronger because I was following it behind his lead. And I also told him I don't care where this takes me, I knew I was gonna be okay because I have him in my corner. As soon as I said amen, the door opened up and they said my name. They told me that the bond dropped to $20,000 and my mom had already paid my bail and I was free to go. So they're gonna out-process me. Now look, Chad, that's the bottom of my notes, so I don't really have too much more to say on that aspect, but now I'm just gonna freestyle it to the best of my ability to remember what actually happened. So I got out of jail, right? I got out of jail and I talked to my bondsman. She was the coolest woman ever. And she pretty much broke down the whole process. I have to sign a bond agreement and I have to check in with her every Wednesday and I have court. The day I had court, she said I have to be there. I'm like, all right, cool. That day comes up, I checked in every single time I needed to. I did everything I was supposed to. That day came up, I went to court and they asked me. I went in a full-fledged suit, tie, briefcase. I had the whole nine, bro. I walk in, it's motherfuckers in that hoe with half they hair braided, the other half is afros. Like, the fuck, I done came to this bitch all suited and booted and niggas is in this hoe looking like who did it and why. He asked me, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest. My attorney said, we plead not guilty. All right, cool. He said, all right, I'll see you on this date. Boom. That's it? That was my first court date. So my second court date, I got offered a plea deal. My first plea deal was $1,000 fine, 300 hours of community service. I had to take 5 classes, 90 days in jail, and 7 years of felony probation. Fuck no, nigga, I'm not doing that shit. Told my attorney, man, fuck no, bro. You gonna have to do something about that, bro. Second court date was when I finally got a chance to get the dash cam footage. The dash cam footage, I realized that when a cop was chasing me, quote unquote, he didn't have his lights on. So how am I running away from somebody, or how am I felony eluding when your lights wasn't even on? So at that point, I started to look at my attorney like, hey, you think we can beat this? And he was like, I don't really know, man. I haven't looked at the dash cam footage. The fuck you mean you ain't looked at the dash cam footage? Nigga, that's your goddamn job. I didn't know that back then. So I was like, okay, cool. So I started doing my own research. So I started doing research on my own. And what I found was, well, first of all, they never asked me if I had insurance. And I did have insurance. Second of all, you can't cite me for no registration, nor can you cite me for improper license plate placement because I didn't have a plate on the front of my car, because I'm not an Oklahoma resident, I'm a Texas resident. And even though that's your laws for your residents. I don't have to follow that. So you can't charge me with that if I'm not a resident of your state. How is it felony possession of a firearm if they were all my firearms, they were all legal, none of them were stolen, and I've never had a record? That doesn't make any sense. And last but not least, reckless driving. I looked into what eluding is. What is misdemeanor eluding? What is felony eluding? Misdemeanor eluding, well, eluding in general is when a cop gets behind you and he cuts his lights on and you don't pull over. Misdemeanor eluding is just, you're just driving and he's just driving. You're not reckless driving or nothing, you're just driving and he's driving. Felony eluding is you're reckless driving while eluding. So how can I get reckless driving while eluding and reckless driving at the same time? That's 2 charges for the same thing. So they dropped all 5 charges except for that felony eluding charge. So I'm thinking that, hey, you know what? Maybe, that they dropped 5 charges instead of me having 6 charges. I only got 1. Maybe my probation will go down. Maybe the terms will go down in the next plea. Wrong. These niggas told me my next offer was 7 years probation 300 hours of community service, 3 classes, a fine of $1,000, and 60 days jail time. What the hell is that? And then after that, we went to another court date, and my last court offer was 7 years probation, 150 hours of jail, 150 hours of community service, 30 days in jail, 3 classes, $1,000 fine. We negotiated that at court, and my attorney didn't want to take it to trial. He said that he felt like we were gonna lose, and I trusted him. I don't know why. So, like a dumbass, I signed that deal, bro. 7 years probation. At this point, I'm on papers. So, from there was another time I went to jail. I'm not gonna talk too much about it, but if you remember the ex that got my name tatted, me and her ended up getting into it, and I told her to leave my house, and she didn't want to leave. So, I told her, hey, look, if you don't leave, I'ma leave. And she said, well, if you leave, I'm gonna call the police. I said, all right, cool. There's no right move for me to make. If I stay, it's gonna be toxic. If I leave, it's gonna be toxic. But I know that I cannot stay here. So I left, and she called the police. Police came, and they found the smallest mark on her, like, arm. And then they issued a warrant out for my arrest. And one day, them niggas came to my house and got me, bro. They took me to jail. I had to bond out. My bond was $1,000, and I had to go back and forth to Nebraska for my court date. I ended up hiring this attorney that I met through my guy, Brandon. His name was Slowhawk on Instagram. God rest his soul. I don't know if y'all remember that there was a viral post about a guy that had a Trackhawk, and he ended up crashing his Trackhawk into a tree, and his Trackhawk split in half. That was my friend. He was a close friend of mine. He was real cool, man. He ended up putting me on this attorney, badass attorney. But the attorney actually got me off. The attorney actually got me off with a disorderly conduct fine of $100. So this time right here, I didn't violate my probation when I went to jail that time, because I went to jail during the point where I wasn't on probation. I was still going through my court. So I went to jail the first time, they dragged it out, and then I went to jail the second time. In between, I signed me going to jail and signing my papers, so I never violated my probation. But then I recently got arrested. The reason why I recently got arrested is gonna be explained on a separate video, but just know it was some bullshit. I'm not gonna go into detail too much about it, because when a case is still open, you just don't wanna talk about it. But just know, I do have a video coming, and y'all are gonna see everything. And I guarantee you that y'all are gonna say, bro, that is some bullshit. Now, recently on Instagram, I've been out of jail for a week and 2 days now, and I haven't posted shit. I haven't posted nothing on my car page. I haven't posted nothing on my main page. Not a story. I ain't even posted a note. I ain't like nobody's pictures. I ain't comment on nobody's shit. Nothing. Like, I haven't done absolutely nothing on social media at all. Every female cut off. Like, I've been so below the radar, and actually it's funny because somebody was just driving by and seen my car parked here and actually tagged me in their story. I seen it. Everybody's been hitting my phone asking if I'm okay, where I'm at, where I've been, how I'm doing. And to be honest, bro, I'm just not with it. I'm not feeling it. One thing I can say about jail, will probably look at me and be like, bruh, damn, he went to jail and let jail change him, that little bitty jail time. Man, that nigga not hard. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. If that's what it takes to be hard, I'm not hard. Like, that shit lame as If you watching this and you have not ever been to jail, I don't give a what it's for. Man, don't go to jail, bruh. That shit is lame, my nigga. It's hella motherfuckers out here that flaunt about going to jail, and that shit is lame as fuck. Every single day of my life, every day I wake up, every time I leave my house, every time I step foot out into society, I regret the fact that I went to jail, bro. That shit is not cool. That shit is not cool. It's not fun. It's lame. I'm not hard. If that's what it takes to be hard, I'm not hard. I ain't gonna lie, I'm hard in every other way, especially right now. I'm super hard right now. Huh? But in regards to what y'all be talking about I'm cool, bro. Jail changed me. I'm not a criminal. I've never been a criminal. I've never even smoked weed before. While I'm on my probation right now, I've never failed a drug test. I haven't checked in. I've never missed shit. I've done all my classes, done literally everything I'm supposed to do. I'm just waiting on probation. So if you watching this or anybody that you know think that it's anything cool about what the I just said, sitting in jail or anything along the lines of that, bro, that is not cool, bro. This shit's not cool, bro. And over this time that I've took, you know, breaking away from social media and actually realizing certain shit, I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about myself, and I've learned a lot about how cool the world is. Because this last time that I went to jail, I did not deserve to go. It could have been something I got a ticket for. But I'm not gonna speak bad about any police departments or anything like that. There's certain things that I can't control, and there's certain things that I can control. But I'm just to the point right now in my life to where if there's certain things I can't control, I don't let them control me. So I'm not gonna guess and try to figure out what it is and stress myself out. Whatever happens, happens. But at the end of the day, to all my supporters and anybody that made it this far into the video, thank you. I love you. What happens from here? And I'm probably gonna, by the time that y'all post this video, I'm probably gonna be turning myself in the next day. So if you're watching this right now, 9 times out of 10, I'm catching a verdict on what's gonna be going on. So I guess that's it for this video, man. Make sure that y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and God got my back. Y'all gonna see me soon. I don't think that I'm gonna be in any trouble. I think that I'll be okay, regardless of what I got to do. Like I said in that prayer when I was in jail the first time, whatever God is doing, I trusted Him to lead the way for me into righteousness and success. Make sure that y'all like, comment, subscribe, man. Majay the Planet. I'm out, bro. Peace.